how's the president doing on foreign policy?
Bad. I mean, he came into office, during the campaign, I'm going to end the wars. Well, the wars aren't ending, and if anything, we're adding to them. And you can just see it right here. I mean, Trump and foreign policy in 2024 versus Kamala Harris. Foreign policy was a strength for this president. He was trusted more in foreign policy than Kamala Harris by a 10-point margin. Among independents, he was trusted more by 14 points. Come over to this side of the screen. The net approval now on foreign policy in 2026. Down he goes, right into the straight up Hormuz. Look at this. 22 points in the negative direction, a minus 22-point net approval rating. That is a drop of over 30 points. And among independents, he is now at minus 30 points. I love those notes at the bottom of the screen, Johnny B. So that is a movement of 44 points among independents. Foreign policy, which was a strength for this president during the 2024 campaign, has become a weakness for him here in 2026, leading up to this midterm campaign.
This may be because of Iran, but the president said he was going to end the Russian war on Ukraine in one day.
Yeah, he said he was going to end it in one day. Well, I don't know about you, but here in reality, the war is still going on, and obviously that has been in the news very much recently, and you could see it right here, Trump in the Russia-Ukraine war. Look at this, in 2024, again, it was a strength for him. Slightly more trusted than Kamala Harris by 2 points. You come over to this side of the screen. Again, the net approval, the shift very much in the negative direction. Down he goes, now at minus 19 points. That's a 20-point switcheroo. And among independents, we're talking about a shift from plus 7 points, them trusting Donald Trump more on the Russia-Ukraine war, to now his net approval rating, negative 36 points. Again, over a 40-point shift away from the President of the United States. Again, foreign policy, which was such a strength for this president during the 2024 campaign against Kamala Harris, has become an anchor for his presidency. We're talking foreign policy at large. We're also talking about Russia-Ukraine war.
On Iran, what direction are his numbers moving right now?
Yeah, you know what? They started in the negative and they become more negative. I mean, look, Trump's net approval rating on Iran. In March, it was minus 19 points. You talk about here, look at this. Again, you start in the negative at minus 19 points. You say it can't get any worse. It absolutely has gotten worse. We're talking now at minus 28 points, a shift again of about 10 points in the negative direction from an already low point. And I'm not thinking that the rising gas prices will help him out very
well. Let's talk about rising gas prices here, because that's been really a big factor when you talk about consumer sentiment here. And gas prices have decreased. They did decrease.
They did.
They started to creep up again. What are the prediction markets saying? How do people feel like they're going to go over the next few weeks?
Yeah, you look at the prediction markets, that was, we had seen some slight increases in Trump's approval rating, still very negative, but slight increases as the gas prices went down. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that upward trend and the slight upward trend, Trump's net approval rating, starts going down again, because chance gas prices in July rise above $4 a gallon. July 12th, just a few days ago, was a 32% chance according to cash production market. That is more than doubled, up to a 75% chance now, going in the wrong direction, and that means Trump's net approval rating will likely follow.
That is a very quick change there. You can see the sentiment there shifting.
3.5% is the new inflation rate. This was down from 4.2% in the previous month. That is the first time that we've seen that number fall like that since 2020. This is a big decline. This number fell. It's the first time in 2 years that we've seen the month-over-month number decline. So this is good news. Let's not sell this short. We like when inflation is falling. But, and there's always a but, this is not just the headline number that we're talking about. We're also talking about what happens if you take out energy, if you take out food, and that number increased to 2.6%. Now, we were at 2.9% in the previous month, so it's nice to see that that's falling as well. But remember, energy is the big reason why this is falling, right? We fell 5.7% in the past month because we had falling gas prices, we had falling oil prices. But what's happening right now?
We had something of a ceasefire, is what it was talked about.
Yes, exactly. We had the ceasefire. Now look what's happening with oil prices, right? We're back to 1 month highs here. We haven't seen $80 oil since the middle of June. So already we're looking at old data, and this is something that we're going to have to continue to watch as we get July's numbers next month.
Okay, important to see the impact that a ceasefire and gas prices going down, what that does to inflation, we look in the past now at this. What now July is going to look like is going to be quite something.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, so if we're going to continue this trend and gas prices are going to keep going higher and oil prices are going to keep going higher.
What was it? It's the highest one-day jump in oil prices in 6 years?
Yeah, that's right. Oil prices were almost up 10% in a single day. We hadn't seen that since the pandemic. So, we don't like comparing things to the pandemic. We certainly don't like comparing inflation. We don't like comparing oil to the pandemic either.
President Trump doesn't have a strategy here. He's making it up on the fly. That is a very dangerous situation. He says one thing one day, something totally different the next day. It's time for adults in Congress to get together, Democrats and Republicans, along with serious foreign policy military strategists, and come up with a long-term strategy and execute this with our allies. Again, President Trump doesn't know what he's doing right now. He's making it up, and it is sending really bad signals to the rest of the world.
You do not like that he got in this war. You do not like how his you say lack of strategy in conducting this war. But what deal would you make with Iran right now at this point?
I mean, the first thing I would do is I would try to get to a ceasefire. The next thing I would do is I would bring in the Arab nations to be partners in this.
If that is conceding that Iran will now have full control or some control over the Strait of Hormuz going forward, is that a deal you would make?
No, we can't cede. These are international waterways. I don't support Iran putting tolls on ships that are going through there, and certainly not the United States of America. That's not who we are. Again, it took us years to negotiate the JCPOA, the nuclear deal that we did with President Obama. This is going to be a long-term prospect, and again, can't relitigate how we got here. I did not support this action, but we are where we are, and we've got to figure out how to get out of this.
Yeah. I want to ask you about Ukraine. In light of Lindsey Graham's sudden death, Senator Richard Blumenthal is redoubling his efforts now to push through the crippling sanctions against Russia that he had been long working on with Senator Graham. Blumenthal thinks that they have buy-in, finally, real buy-in from the president. Let me play what he says.
We all did good because the White House has given us the green light, and now I'm more hopeful than ever we will pass this sanctions bill, which narrowly targets the major purchasers of Russian oil and gas, and has the potential for bringing Putin to the table because it will stop the revenue sources that fuel his war machine.
It's been a long roller coaster with this sanctions package. Do you actually think it's going to happen now?
I think there's a real possibility. We all mourn the loss of Senator Graham, who was a staunch ally of Ukraine and supporting the actions against Russia. I think in his honor, we should get this passed. There's a real possibility now that Ukraine's taken the war to Russia, the Russian people are really feeling the pain of this war. Can we get to the negotiating table and try to get something longer term in terms of a resolution here? I do think the sanctions are the right thing to do.